Hello, welcome to the Inflection podcast. Super excited to have here with me today, Alan, CEO of Kadima Careers, helping job seekers up the game and get better jobs, better pay in a shorter amount of time. Thank you so much for hopping on, Alan.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to roll back the curtains a little bit to learn some more about the origin story, the story behind Kadima Careers. What the inspiration was and perhaps the gap you saw in the market for you to set up shop.
Yeah, great, Anebi. Happy to. So I had a 25-year career working for some of the best companies in the world, companies like Google, Facebook, Salesforce, American Express, UBS, Tableau. I worked in customer success, I worked in marketing, I worked in operations, I worked in finance, I worked in sales. But the common thread across all those is I always really appreciated growing and developing and hiring talent. So I would always be campus captain for when I was at Google to hire on campus at Columbia Business School and other schools. So I was always very passionate about hiring people. And when the pandemic occurred, I also had some time on my hands because I was working from home and I was also reevaluating my love hate relationship with the corporate world and realized that I was not going to be a corporate person all my life. And it was time to think about what chapter was next. So I thought about what I was good at, and that is growing and developing talent and getting jobs too, what the world needs, what people will pay for. And we help people get jobs quickly, confidently, with lots more money,
Yeah.
and also what I enjoy doing. And I like helping people get jobs. And Kadima means accelerate, or Kadima means forward in Hebrew. So it is a word that means forward, and we like to move people's careers forward.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And that's something I really resonate with. I love plugging people in with good opportunities. That's something that really excites me. And one thing I want to say there with regards to your own personal journey, like were there some unique things you saw? Because I know you have a very personalized approach to your system, like we've interacted online and you give a darn about this process and the folks who work with you see that. So are there unique things in your personal experience that you try to infuse into the DNA of Kadima Careers?
Yeah. So even though I am a pasty white dude in the majority here in America, I got very involved in DI in 2012 when I was at Google, when Trayvon Martin was murdered, and they had lots of people talk within the company about how we needed to change things about DEI. I did that in fast forward to 2020 when George Floyd got murdered. I heard the same stories at Salesforce. I was at Salesforce at the time
Yeah.
that, oh, we need to do a better job with DI and hire there. I've been fighting and a proponent for hiring more Black, brown, women, underrepresented people at these companies because, frankly, the companies were doing a really poor job. And I saw opportunities to bridge that gap and to hire lots of good talent. So I would raise lots of ideas internally, and I was often shut down from those ideas for
Well,
a variety of reasons. That's not how we do things here. So I just started doing it on my own. And that has really inspired me, not just to help people in general, but to help people that are underrepresented, underestimated, underpaid, people that don't have the insights and knowledge. And we're trying to level the playing field for them.
yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing that. Are there some cool, or even if it's one anecdote or a success story where you're working with an individual that thought, this is all I'm ever going to make, or this is what's cut out for me to work with you, and it's boom, shock, surprise. Is there any example that comes to mind with that?
Yeah, there's this woman, Marissa, who worked with us, and she worked in the recruiting and talent acquisition space. And she was working for a mid-sized shop before. Previously, like the biggest company she worked for was Tableau. And she had an amazing background, but she was held back with some limiting beliefs of herself, of not thinking that she could be FANG worthy or like top tech worthy. And also she was dealing with, she was neurodiverse. So she had some different learning styles. She was hesitant to push herself to focus on the top tech companies. And I knew this woman, Marissa, and I knew that she was fully capable of getting jobs at some of those top companies. So we challenged her a bit to extend her list of companies that she would focus on. And she's okay, fine. I'll look for some of the top tech companies. She put Netflix on her list. She began reaching out to them, got interviewed there. We helped prepare her for that, and she did a great job on her own as well. She wound up nabbing a job in talent acquisition at Netflix as a program manager,
Wow.
making in the $200,000 range more than she ever made before, about $80,000 more. And she's now working at one of the top tech companies in the world. So it was really just giving her a little bit of the confidence and insight that she was fully capable of doing it and giving her the support. And then she did all the hard work of
Yeah,
preparing and putting her application in there and getting ready for those interviews.
that is amazing. From that description too, it feels like your service has you helped prep, helped flesh out the applications. Like, what's your suite of services, if I may? If I was a job seeker or, man, I need to up level things and work with Alan and crew, what does that look like? Is there a whole suite or do you customize per person?
So we have a proprietary framework that I've honed on myself and then on clients over the course of time, which gets people great jobs in 3.47 months. That's our average right now. It first starts with identifying goals. So we work with people to understand their values and then identify target companies that could meet their goals. Then we really assess their strengths and help them position themselves to lean into their strengths, whether it's functional or industry expertise, but lean into that strength and play to your strength. Then the third part, we help them with building relationships and building network. And everybody starts with a network. Not everybody has a big network to start, but
Yeah.
everybody starts with a network. And then we help them build those relationships through outreach effectively and politely and humbly and mutually respectful way. Then the next thing we do is we teach them how to apply for the right roles at the right time on the right sites. Not all applications are created equally. And ideally, they're getting most applications in through the referral channel.
Yeah.
And then we train them and work on their mindset for the interviews. So we train people to get into Amazon and Google. Because if you can get into Amazon and Google, you can get into any company. But we also work on the mindset. So they need tenacity as well, because you will get rejected a lot of times. That's just how the numbers work. And then
Yeah.
finally, after they get the role, and only after they get the role, we help them with high impact negotiations. So we help them negotiate for what they're worth. And on average, we've gotten people $38,000 more just on the negotiation part alone.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Would you say, like most of the times, right? A lot of so mindset challenges. It's a big challenge folks face. There's barrier to entry, the gatekeepers. Some companies of you have to go to this school and have this kind of education on your resume. Are there ways you navigate that with candidates? Or I guess I'll rephrase that as what are some common challenges, right? You inevitably help candidates navigate to get into some top tier companies.
Yeah. There's three primary ways that people can get into a recruiting pipeline, into like the job search funnel, the job acquisition funnel. One, you can get recruited. So if you went to Harvard or Yale or Stanford and you worked at a good company, maybe people will come to you and try to recruit you.
Yeah.
Secondly, you can apply cold. And we teach people how to apply at the right places so that their resume, and also for the right sort of jobs, so that their resume will get a higher likelihood of being seen and considered, although that is a very low likelihood of success. In the third area, we teach them how to build relationships at the companies where they want to work at. Build those relationships before you need them, dig that well before you're thirsty, and then earn those referrals. That will get your resume looked at by a real human being. And then if you're prepared for that opportunity, then you can pounce on that. and hopefully convert the interview. Even there, though, once you get an interview, you have a 1 out of 3 or to a 1 out of 5 shot of success. So still more likely than not, you are going to fail when you get to the
Yeah,
interview stage.
man, that's good. Thanks for sharing that. Are you seeing more companies hire more diverse candidates that don't necessarily, and when I say companies like the big tech companies, candidates that may not necessarily have degrees? Because I know that used to be a stickler for many companies. You got to have at least a bachelor's degree. So from your experience and your insight into the industry, is that something you're seeing more of?
Not more of, and especially in this market, you have so much high quality talent that have been laid off by these great tech companies. That talent is getting snapped up first. You can definitely succeed without a college degree, but it's going to be harder. You can definitely succeed without some brand name logos on your resume, but it's going to be harder to get in the door. And you often have to do baby steps and take some stepping stones to get to where you want to go. But I've
Yeah.
had one of my best employees that I ever had didn't finish college. She worked for me at Tableau, and then she worked for me at Salesforce. And I had another one who was a community college person that was hired at Google, and she became one of my best employees. And she
Wow.
got an MBA from a no-name university in the South. And even though she didn't go to top name brand schools, they were still amazing employees. But the way they got their jobs, I think both of them came in through the referral channel.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't go to those schools, but they figured out a way into Google in the one case, and the other woman got into Tableau. I think both
Yeah.
because of referrals.
Man, that's cool. Thank you. In the industry, right? Overall, like, are there some trends, some interesting trends you're seeing that maybe you're excited about or also not as excited about?
Yeah. So the trends that I see now are layoffs in the tech industry. And you've been seeing that for the
Yeah.
last early 2023, late 2022, when Twitter and Zuckerberg at Meta first ripped off the Band-Aid, and then that started a whole wave. What that has done, I think, has hopefully, it's been very destructive to about 100,000 people that have been laid off because of these layoffs. But hopefully it reminds people that everybody is employed at will. When you sign an offer at Google or Facebook or American Express or Pfizer or whatever company, Gusto, name the company, you are employed at will. Unless you're a unionized employee or a professor, a tenured professor, you're employed at will. So the trend is, I think, there's a lot less loyalty that we're seeing between the company. Like, the company never really had loyalty to the employee, but they feigned it and they made it seem like that. And now the employees are realizing that I really am not, I don't have that much stability here because of loyalty. So I think a trend is people are being more concerned about their
Yeah.
job and hopefully being a little bit more proactive about always searching. I don't know if that's always happening though. And I think other trends are a lot of fear as well. So some people are taking action because of this, and some people are taking that insight and saying, okay, I need to prepare myself because even though I think I have a stable job, I could get laid off. There are
Yeah.
other people that are seeing that fear of, hey, I'm afraid to move because I could get axed if my boss knows about this, and are using that fear of a tougher market to paralyze their ability to take action. So I see both of those things occurring. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
anything new, but with different dynamics. Again, like AI is another big trend. How is AI disrupting almost every job? It's going to disrupt my job in ways. It's going to empower us, and it's going to eliminate the need to do some things as well. And
Yeah.
that's a positive thing. I look at it as a positive thing for those that figure out, what am I going to do with this free time
Yeah.
and this added resource that I now have?
Absolutely. Do you see from some of the conversations you're having with customers you work with where it makes the verdict becomes more get a fractional thing going? Is that something you help with sometimes? So they have a job or they've been looking for a while but you vet them, you talk, and you have a lot of experience here. Maybe you should start something. Is that something you're seeing as
Yeah.
well or might offer?
Yeah. And I think that's another trend as well. People being more free agents and doing like side hustles because that there's actually a lot more ability for anyone to become a creator.
Yeah.
You can become a creator and start like doing like, yeah, everyone can become a creator. People can do side hustles as well. And I think that's actually a healthy thing. What I would caution people to do is first get a stable job if you can, because I think there's
Yeah.
lots of benefit there. I don't have a stable job now. Now I'm an entrepreneur, but my wife does. She's a doctor at NYU. So we have benefits and we have a steady paycheck through her.
Amazing.
So we have that cushion. If you're an individual or if you don't have a spouse or a partner that has that steady paycheck, there's a lot to be said to know what
Mm.
paycheck you're getting every week or every 2 weeks or every month,
Yeah.
and to have those benefits and to have, even though you do not have full security as an employee, you do have more stability than I do now because every week my sales are different. It depends on
Yeah.
like how our ads did and what our webinar event did. If I'm doing good podcasts like this versus when I worked at Google or American Express, I knew every week my paycheck was going to be $2,412 or whatever it was after taxes
Yeah.
going into my bank account. And there's some like I probably rested a hell of a lot easier then.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely something to be said there. Like I've been on both ends, the jump all in entrepreneurship without steady plan and also have a job side hustle. And I definitely, for most people, will recommend there's something to be said about having a job, which frees you up. You can experiment on the side to side hustles. And maybe, just maybe, it takes off enough where you can make an educated leap. This is blind optimism. The word that I've been noodling on and I use for that now is pragmatic optimism. So the posture is hopeful. You're not doom and gloom. We're all going to hell. The world is ending. But at the same time, crap happens, right? You do the best plans and it doesn't work out. So you proceed with looking at the data and playing strategy, playing chess. There's this blinding optimism, jumping all in. So I love that.
Yeah, I like that term, pragmatic optimism.
I've been using it lately and I didn't coin it. I saw it online and I was like, I like that.
I'll give you credit for it.
Thank you. One other thing specifically with Kadima Careers, as you've been growing it for the past few years, are there certain things, if you could go back, you would do differently? Maybe some assumptions you had with it?
Yeah. So I'm actually getting audited for my 2021 taxes now, and I'm looking at
Oh,
a lot of my expenses from back there. I was like, holy shit, what did I spend all this money on?
yeah.
So I think I spend money too quickly when I had it. I think because like
Yeah.
when I was still working at Salesforce, I was probably spending the money pretty loosely because I had a good salary at Salesforce while I was working on this as a side hustle.
Yeah.
And then I wound up working with service providers that came to me rather than I went out and found.
Ah,
So it's like how I teach people in Kadima to think about jobs. The odds are if a job comes to you, it's going to be pretty crappy. It's like getting hit on at a bar. I don't know about you. I never got hit on by anyone good at a bar. I had to always go hit on the good people at the bar. And usually, so if you go out and try to seek something, then you can target what you're looking for and it's a little bit more intentional. So I wound up buying some services and working with providers that kind of came inbound to me and thinking that they could help my media buying or help my website or help my lead gen or help this or help that. And they did to a degree, but I wasn't ready to execute it and I spent stupid money. So now I'm finally have, I shouldn't say finally, but now I'm much more rigorous with our financial budget and trying to grow within my means rather than continue to
mm,
dip through my retirement savings, which have been mostly tapped out for the ones that do not have a big tax consequence. So my business has been all funded for my retirement, which
yeah.
I was able to invest a lot in retirement because I made some good money during my time at Google and Facebook and Salesforce and so forth. So what I learned is be more cautious about the service providers, the vendors, the people that you use. Like when I found good ones, they've been amazing, but I made a lot of senseless mistakes along the way.
Yeah. All part of the process.
Yes.
School of hard knocks, eh? Oh
Yes.
man.
I earned a lot of credit card rewards those years. We're still spending as much now. We're just getting a lot better return on
Yeah.
what we're spending that money on.
Oh my gosh. What's on the horizon for Kadima Careers? Like you're always up to something, you're always adding new services, you have your webinars. Is there anything you're particularly excited about? And two, what's a call to action for those listening and like, crap, I'm
Yeah.
looking for a new career. I want to make more money. I want to do something fulfilling. Like, so it's a double-edged question. Stuff in the
Yeah.
horizon for you and how folks can
So
engage.
what's on the horizon is we've put in all this work to build a scalable model so we can take on almost endless amount of clients that are motivated, that have grit and perseverance, and are open to feedback, have a growth mindset. If you fit that bill and you want to get a better job, we are fully at scale now where we can take people on. So we get people great jobs quickly, confidently, with lots more money. We do it with a 8 to 10 times return on investment. And yeah, and we have some of the world's best coaches working with us because there's a lot of good coaches out there from Google and Amazon and Salesforce and Microsoft and Facebook and all these companies that want to help people. So I'm really excited. We have the model working now, and we're just really trying to make sure that the word gets out that
Yeah.
we can get people jobs quickly, confidently, with lots more money, 30-day money back guarantee, and we guarantee a better job for the people in our personalized coaching programs. That's what I'm most excited about. We're also rolling out some digital courses as well, which is more
Yeah.
scalable. And we're also trying to make those more cost attainable globally. So we do parity based pricing. So we charge 20 cents on the dollar in Kenya and 25 cents on the dollar in India for our digital products, because we do want, our greater ambition is to accelerate 1 million careers by 2040. We got to get started and
Yeah.
we're scaling the process.
That is amazing, Alan. Thank you so much for your generosity with your time, sharing your story and insights. Appreciate you.
Awesome. And love people to follow me on LinkedIn, reach out there. I'm always on LinkedIn. That's how we met.
Yep.
And yeah, and you can always check out our website at kadimacareers.com.
Perfect. And I'll throw all of those in the show notes as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.